Perplexity solved one of the biggest problems happening right now in the AI industry, and that's trust. And with thousands of AI tools launching almost every year, most of them give you an answer and just expect you to believe it, with no sources, no verification, and you're left there wondering, where did this even come from? But that's where Perplexity took a different approach. Every answer comes with actual citations, live web searches pulling from real credible sources, and you can click through and verify everything yourself. They built a free version for quick searches, a pro tier with Copilot for deep research workflows, and an enterprise plan with SSO and admin controls. Safe to say, this product is legitimately great, but here's the problem. Their Instagram strategy is leaving hundreds and thousands of conversions on the table, not because their content is bad, and actually, they're doing everything right, but they're missing two critical levers that turn attention into action. And that's what we're gonna fix today. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Matthew Mendoza, and I'm with Sentient Agency. We're a global AI-first media company that helps startups and brands drive conversions through high-trust content. We own over 30 million in media research and work with a network of over 400 million followers across AI, tech, and business pages. So with that being said, let's break down Perplexity. Now, before I show you the two levers they're missing, let me acknowledge what Perplexity is doing incredibly well at, because most brands should honestly be copying this playbook word for word. First, credibility partnerships. They partnered with Cristiano Ronaldo, Lewis Hamilton, and Lee Jung-jae from Squid Game, right? These are massive reach plays with incredible production quality. Second, creator network. They've got multiple creators making content about Perplexity across different niches, right? From the students, the business owners, the researchers, basically anyone who could benefit using the service is probably making content for them. Third, role-based content. Their posts right now show specific use cases within the industries that are their desired ICP. And by the way, this is exactly the kind of distribution strategy we run at Sentient with our AI, our tech, and our business pages. So when we see Perplexity doing the same thing, we know they understand the game. So if they're doing all this right, what are the two levers that are missing? And that, my friends, is going to be story highlights, excuse my handwriting, and comments section control. All right, so here's the first issue. Perplexity is running these massive celebrity campaigns, right? You got Ronaldo, you got Lewis, you got Lee Jung-jae, millions of impressions, incredible reach. But the thing is, if we were to look at the Ronaldo reel as an example, it's great. You know, probably a lot of people are going to go onto Cristiano's page first instead of Perplexity's. But the thing is, after this, if you go onto Perplexity's page, I mean, what do we have? Nothing. And if we were to dive a little bit deeper, if you were to look at some of the reels that were created, clearly this one did very, very well. 44 million. You have another one, 23 million. You have another one, 2 million, right? This is what every brand wants. They want big numbers. They want big views because obviously that's going to bring more people. But the thing is, a company like this that is bringing in such great numbers, they do not have any presence that shows exactly what's next. That's why in the last audit that we did with Lovable, we specifically said orientation, like making sure as a college kid, if you were to go to your campus for the first time, you know exactly where you need to go. You know what you need to sign. You know what process you need to go through. It's the same thing with this. If these videos are getting such large amounts of reach, and if they're not funneling properly, I mean, you are literally wasting so much potential on that end alone. If you were to even look at the story highlights, there's nothing going on here. If you were to look at the bio section, there's nothing going on there. There's no sort of call to action. There's no sort of structure. And then even if you click onto this, like there's a bunch of links, but there's not a clear path for somebody to understand this is what I should do. And if you think about it, if somebody's doom scrolling on their phone, they are in monkey brain. They're seeing what they like, they're seeing what they dislike, and it only takes one video for them to stop the scroll. And that'll maybe give them a pattern interrupt, but if you don't catch their attention quick and guide them throughout the rest of the process, they're not going to know what they want to do. They're going to go back to end up doom scrolling. But our goal is to stop them in their tracks and get them to exactly where you want them to be. And if there's no structure there, I mean, what can we do? Like if we were to look at supply or know-it-alls, like for the story highlights, you look at this and it looks great, right? It seems like they had a huge campaign last year. But then even if I were to click on one of these links, it sends me to their website, but there's nothing there. So this doesn't really matter for like a regular person seeing it. They won't think anything of it. But if you're a business that has over 900,000 followers and you have a lot of people seeing your account daily, I can imagine from a CMO's perspective, if somebody or even leadership is asking like, hey, what levers are we going to pull or what things are we going to do? You best believe something like this could cause so much damage, because if you don't have something in place, if you're not constantly tweaking this up, you're wasting so much potential. Same thing with this.
This is right. It can power a city.
Right? It's a campaign that ties well, but you could tell like this entire section isn't being taken care of. And here's what's even more frustrating, right? They're probably posting stories during these celebrity campaigns, but they're not saving them as highlights, right? So they're just letting them disappear after 24 hours. So when you're working with these campaigns, regardless if it's a celebrity or not, there's two things you need to consider. If I were to write this out, we got story sequence, obviously. But there's two things you need to consider within the story sequences. One, you need to do story sequences that are during the campaign itself. And two, a highlight that stays forever. Now, let me show you what that looks like entirely, though. If we were to draw out, as an example, the story sequences that we would do, which you only need maybe 3 or 4, we can, as an example, say with the Ronaldo one, we did a story-related reel, so the reel would go as the first part, and the second part would be kind of like a storytelling base where we just have really good copy that ties to Ronaldo's story, but then ties to Perplexity and how you can utilize it. So we could put copy here and do the same thing by Perplexity and Ronaldo. I'll put CR. And then as this transitions through, we have some sort of CTA that wraps everything up. Or if we're doing ManyChat, we can put like comment CR7 to get access to the software, whatever the case may be, whichever way you want to do it. But that's how we can run story sequences properly to where everything will look good. And the thing with this is, if you look at Perplexity's page, I'm in love with it, first and foremost. Like, they understand, like, that creator team, props to you guys. You guys are incredible. You guys know what it takes to make a company feel premium and feel just different, right? You have beautiful visuals. All you have to do is take the same creativity and put them for your story sequences. So if we were to go back here, just make very good visuals that look really, really good, plus good copy that ties to the collaboration right here, and then an easy CTA, nothing crazy. And something like this, if you were to consider, like a company like this is probably generating millions and millions of impressions, obviously every month, and in some cases every week or whatever the case may be, right? So there's so much opportunity for you guys to literally put proper story sequences in the mix that you know are going to at least convert you a good percentage of those people and actually get you more people that subscribe to the product itself, regardless if it's free or paid. Now, 3 months later, somebody lands on the profile. They can click on that highlight, see the entire campaign. They can watch the video, they can see the results, and then they can click the link themselves and actually try it. But right now, Perplexity is spending millions on these celebrity campaigns, and once the reel's posted, there's no story sequence driving people to action, and the 24 hours are up, and there's no highlight preserving any of it. So let me show you what their highlights should look like, though. So I have the highlights put off here, so if I were to write them out as an example, we'll have like a few like that. We'll make them look really good based off of the team, because I know they're incredible, and then we can do something kind of like this. If I were to go back over here and clear this all out, we would do celebrity collabs as a separate one. We would then do co-pilot demonstrations to show people based off of that type of niche that we're trying to hit exactly what they can do with the product. And then we can do a proof related one for generic, like a proof demo sequence, where we just show maybe a graphic of us using the actual software itself. And then we can do for the enterprise guys some sort of enterprise demo as well. And we can do the same thing, make it look very artistically appealing, but have really good captions, really good copy that's tied to it, and then a CTA to wrap all these into a bow. And here's the thing, Perplexity already has the content. They've already spent the money on the celebrity partnerships. They've already created the reels. They just need to organize it into stories and highlights so it works 24/7. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about why this matters at scale. When you're a brand at this level with nearly over 900,000 followers, right? You have celebrity partnerships, you have millions in production, you have everything you could want. You can't afford to have weak spots in your garden. And with a company being this big, they always ask the same question, right? What variables can we test? What are more ways we can track data? And how many levers, which is a big one, can we actually pull? We're talking our bio, we're talking pins, we're talking highlights, we're talking stories, comments, DMs. And when you're not pulling all of them, you're leaving conversions on the table. So the question shouldn't be, do we fix the highlights? The question is, what do we have to lose by not fixing them? The answer, hundreds of thousands of potential customers who land on your profile every day after seeing a reel like the Ronaldo one and don't have a clear path forward and then end up leaving. Next one's going to be the comment section. When you're a brand at this scale with over 900,000 followers, right? Once again, the celebrity partnerships, millions of impressions, your comment sections are massive. And most of the brands would just let them run wild. But here's the thing. Your comment section is the second touch point after the reel. And when you have this much reach, you have the power to actually control the narrative. So as an example, if we were to go onto, say, the Lewis Hamilton reel right here, you're going to have a lot of people laughing, making a lot of comments, talking about stuff that's completely unrelated to the actual product. Here's the thing. The comment section is also a place for people who have internal objections that they're not going to comment on, see what other people think, and if we're not controlling that environment and providing those people clarity, so it'll urge them into obviously signing up for the product, we're not pulling all the levers we can. Now, Instagram only allows us to pin 2 comments, but that's all you're going to need. So the way we'd go about this specifically, and I'll go back over to the PowerPoint real quick, we can control the comments section with those 2 pin posts based off of the type of video that is made. So as an example, this is super top of funnel. This attracts almost anyone and everyone. Like, it doesn't matter, especially fans of Lewis Hamilton as well. So with that being said, the type of questions we'll ask will vary based off of the type of reel. So if I'm a beginner that's also seeing something like this and they don't have much context, they just see Lewis Hamilton, they're like, yo, this is really cool, right? I'm probably going to ask a few questions based off of maybe the limiting barriers that I have in my mind. So as an example, I would probably maybe ask something like, is this user friendly? Is this free? And that's kind of important. Questions like that too, because even with this type of reel specifically, you're probably going to get a lower demographic based off of, like, since it's super top of funnel, you're probably going to get some of the regular people that might only afford maybe the free or maybe like the pro version, not the enterprise, whatever the case may be. So like certain questions are going to matter dramatically based off of this. But we ask objection-based questions, and then we have our admins come in and answer the questions, give them insight, give them overall an idea as to what it is. We pin those comments, and then of course maybe the second pin comment could be something that leads them to the website. We do some sort of CTA, right? Maybe the second comment is like, where can I get access to this? We have one of our admins answer on the website. Click the link in our bio. Do this, do that. Give you a CTA, somewhere that they need to go. Because once again, if we were to think about it this psychologically, a lot of the people that are doom scrolling through their feed, they're on monkey brain. They're not thinking very, I would say, constructively. I've had moments in my time where I've doom scrolled, and the next thing you know, I don't remember how, but I ended up popping up to somebody's like website, and I was ready to go buy something. But that's the level that we can actually pull when it comes to this, to where people can end up finding themselves miraculously on our website. But if we're not controlling the number one thing that people look at first outside of the video itself, how are we going to do that? And not to mention, if we were to talk about the other niches too, like you'll see as an example with Perplexity, they have a bunch of questions that tie to certain niches. So we can also control these comments here, say like what knowledge gaps kept coming up for me for the year. But then not to mention, like, say people that are looking for stock analysis, or I'm just throwing a bunch of ideas based off of what I think from Perplexity, but you can imagine we can control the narrative regardless of what funnel of content it is. And with that being said, the first thing, once again, is someone's going to see the comments, right? And they're going to see the objection handled, and they're going to know the clear next step. This is what I mean when I say pull all levers. Because when you have hundreds of thousands of followers, you have all the things that a lot of brands want, I can imagine leadership is always asking, like, how can we maximize what we're doing? And this is how. So let's recap. Perplexity is doing everything right. They got the celebrity partnerships, they got a creator network, they got a role-based content system. They basically have everything and anything anyone could want. And I know that's kind of putting it out there, but it's true. But these two small things are super crucial. And here's the thing. These aren't massive overhauls. These are tactical fixes that take hours and not months. All you got to do is archive the old highlights, create the new ones from the ones I mentioned, pin 2 comments on every celebrity reel or whatever reel, it doesn't matter. Seed the comment section with the right questions, and then suddenly your profile becomes an even stronger conversion engine instead of just a content library. So the question for any brand watching this shouldn't be, right, do we want to do this? The question you should ask is, what do you have to lose by not doing it? Now, if you want this executed, the stories, the sequences, the highlights, the comments, the control, the funnels, the reporting, basically everything and anything, right? That's exactly what we do at Sentient. But not only that, we own and operate pages like ChatGPT Tricks, Artificial Intelligence, Mindset Therapy, and many more, where we coordinate creator-led campaigns across 16 million owned followers and another 400 million in partnered reach. And everything we just walked through is the exact same thing we do, not to mention utilizing our own Titan accounts. Here's what I want you to remember from this video. Perplexity solved the trust in AI research by showing their work, showing the premium feel every business wants, and by showing real credible proof. Your brand needs to do the same thing on Instagram. Show the work, build the infrastructure, and pull all the levers. Because trust isn't built on content alone. It's built on systems that turn attention into action.